The topic of this lecture is Rostow's theory of regional development stages. Rostow is an American economist who studies economic history and development economics. His most famous academic achievement is the theory of regional development stages. It divides social development into 6 stages, according to the process of Western countries' economic history. This lecture is divided into 3 parts: theoretical background and presentation, the basic content of the theory, application of the theory. Now, first part, theoretical background and presentation. Rostow's theory is presented under 2 world contexts. First, from 1950 to 1970, Western Europe, the United States, and Japan in Asia all entered the golden age of development, with economic prosperity, expanded consumption, and improved living standards. Second, the regions that had been colonies became independent, mainly in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. They established new countries, which started to develop later than the developed countries. So economists began to study how to lift late developing countries out of poverty and into developed societies. Rostow's theory of development stages is also one of the research results. He divided the development stages according to the process experienced by developed cities, and believed that the late developing countries would also experience the same stages. In 1960, Rostow put forward his theory in his book, The Stages of Economic Growth. Regional economic growth needs to go through 5 stages. In 1971, he added the 6th page in his book, Politics and the Stage of Growth, to complete the theory of the stages of development. What 6 stages did he propose? Let's take a look at his theory. Rostow divided the development history of regions and countries into 6 stages. According to the science and technology, industrial development level, industrial structure, and leading sectors. They are the traditional society, the preconditions for takeoff, the maturity, age of high mass consumption, and the pursuing living quality. In the traditional society, the economy is in a primitive state, and the purpose of economic activities is to survive. The leading industry is agriculture. It was natural economy, then with low productivity and low per capita income. Rostow listed several typical traditional societies, including the ancient Egypt, the Mediterranean civilization, ancient China, and medieval Europe. This is the transition period between the traditional society and the takeoff, and the conditions for the social to rise are being formed. Leading industries are primary industries, or labor-intensive manufacturing. In addition to agriculture, cottage industry, commerce, and service industry gradually developed. Modern scientific knowledge began to play its role in industrial and agricultural production, and productivity increased. With more investment in production, financing problems occurred. The financial institutions were born. Politically, central government was established, and the unified regional market was formed. Rostow cited 3 categories of creating the preconditions for takeoff. The first is the United Kingdom, who pioneered the Industrial Revolution, made technological progress, set up financial institutions, such as the Bank of England, to raise funds, and expanded commercial trade through navigation. The second are the rest of Western Europe and Japan, where the introduction of technology and system created the preconditions. The third are the United States, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, which were established by European immigrants and acquired the industry and technology of European countries. They successfully embarked on the path of European countries. This takeoff is the most important and decisive period. Its signs are industrialization and technology innovation. The leading industries are non-durable consumer goods and railway transportation. During this period, large-scale industries developed, and labor transferred from agriculture to industry. The takeoff is of great significance to regional development. It is the key and core to get rid of poverty and backwardness. It is also the most difficult and important stage for the regional development. Only when less developed countries realize economic takeoff can they realize industrialization and enter the developed society. Typical examples of the takeoff are the United States and Japan. From 1865 to 1890, the United States ended the Civil War, started the Industrial Revolution, made great progress in technology, and developed railway transportation. From the 1950s to the 1970s, Japan maintained a medium-high economic growth rate, with an average growth rate higher than 9%, through industrial support policies to the development of leading industries such as semiconductors and automobiles. This is the stage of sustained economic development after the takeoff. Modern technology is effectively applied to the whole economy, and the dominant sectors are heavy chemical industry and manufacturing system. Agriculture's share in the economy has fallen sharply. Industry, commerce, and the service industry have expanded, and the population is concentrated in cities. The workforce is better educated, more qualified, and more professional. New management styles are emerging, and specialized operators appear in the market. The typical example of this stage is the United States from the 1890s to the 1910s. The heavy chemical industry was dominant, and a group of entrepreneurs such as steel kings and oil kings emerged. The scale of enterprises got larger and larger and developed into monopolies. The urbanization level in the United States also greatly improved. At this stage, the industry is highly developed. The leading sector is the durable consumer goods industry. Bicycle industry and car industry are flourishing. National income has increased significantly, and the spending on leisure, tourism, and luxuries has increased. Social welfare has improved, and social insurance is perfected. High technology is widely used, and the proportion of skilled workers in the labor force has increased. This is the highest stage of regional development described by Rostow. People pursue higher quality consumption and enjoyment. The leading sector is the service sector, which provides labor services and can improve the quality of life. This stage requires sufficient and perfect facilities for education, culture, medical treatment, healthcare, etc. More and more better service industries and entertainment and tourism conditions. This stage also seeks to eliminate environmental pollution and protect the ecosystem. Rostow concluded that the United States of the 1970s was entering this stage. By the 1990s, with the rise of the new economy in the United States, the service industry has become more prosperous, and people have paid more attention to environmental quality and living quality, which is more upstandard to the criteria of this stage. Next, let's see how Rostow applied the theory. According to Rostow's theory, only when a region has the conditions for takeoff can it achieve economic takeoff and get rid of poverty. Like his theory, China has been trying to create the preconditions for takeoff since 1949 and has eventually achieved the economic takeoff in the 21st century and reached a higher stage of development. The preconditions for economic takeoff proposed by Rostow include 1. High capital accumulation rate. 2. Having a leading industrial sector to support and guarantee the development of leading industries. 3. Continuous institutional reforms. 4. Complete infrastructure. 5. Strong government leadership and modern development goals. China is a country short of capital. So capital accumulation is realized by introducing and utilizing foreign capital in large quantities. From 1979 to 1988, the Chinese legislature enacted 3 laws to regulate and guarantee the utilization of foreign capital. And the Chinese government also issued preferential policies for foreign capital. The scale of foreign investment in China is huge. Look at the line in the picture. Starting from 1983, it has reached $40 billion in the 21st century. China formulated different industrial policies in different periods. From 1949 to 1978, policies were more preferential to heavy industry and national defense industry. After 1979, the coordinated development of light and heavy industries was supported, and labor-intensive industries gradually became the leading industries. With the improvement of technology level, some regions realized industrial upgrading, and capital-intensive and technology-intensive industries gradually replaced labor-intensive industries. China is always doing the institutional reforms. Since 1979, China has carried out rural reform, urban reform, the market economic system reform, the income distribution system reform, the tax system reform, and government institution reform. The reform is ambitious, wide-ranging, and will go deeper. China has always carried out reforms in light of the changing situation, and has always adjusted its policies and systems and perfected its laws and regulations. China is constantly developing and upgrading. China has formed a dense expressway network, railway network, and high-speed rail network, which has greatly improved traffic conditions and released ample potential. China has a strong central government with stable and consistent policies. The central government will formulate medium and long-term plans to guide development. The central government has also set the centenary goal of building a modern country. That is, to build a modern country by the time when People's Republic of China is 100 years old. Through the leadership of the government and continuous reform and construction, China has created the preconditions for the economic takeoff, succeeded in developing, and achieved leapfrog development. In the picture, it is China's total GDP and growth rate from 1978 to 2018, showing its great economic achievements.